y'all, it's Cherie with Shannon Strategies, and I am joined by my sidekick, Morgan Tolliver, who is the digital content lead. Say hey, Morgan.
Hello.
And we are coming today just to dish a little bit about what's going on at Twitter. Elon Musk has purchased the social media platform, and essentially it is chaotic to say the least. There's been a mass exodus of employees, whether by choice or they were forced out. We've also seen a lot of changes to how the site is being moderated at the moment when it comes to content. And to be quite honest, it can be a little scary, but not so much where we as communication strategists believe that everyone has to start running for the hills. So, Morgan, I kind of just want to know first, initial thoughts as to what's happening and should any of our clients be panicked at the moment?
So as far as my initial thoughts go, I'm not entirely surprised by what's happening at Twitter. I feel like I've been prepped by what's been happening at Facebook for the last few years. Big tech moguls are like enemy number one on my list most of the time. So I don't think anybody should be running for the hills just yet. I think that just keeping an eye on things, I mean, being aware of what's happening, staying up to date on the news. I think a lot of my worry comes from or some of my worry comes from the firing of the accessibility team and what that's going to do for the features on Twitter. Some people are already claiming they can't log in. That two-factor authentication has been having issues. So, keeping an eye on all of those features and seeing what's changing and sort of going with the flow for now is what I recommend at least.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I think on a personal level, where we have that ability to make a decision if we want to continue to use Twitter. And some folks have expanded their social reach to trying out other platforms such as Mastodon or even Black Twitter app. If you're like me, you try some of these other apps, and I'm kind of like, what all is going on here? This may be a little bit too much. But when it comes to the brand itself, a lot of people, whether they are elected officials, they're with local federal governments, journalists, reporters, even other corporate brands, Twitter's a very unique place. And it's very difficult to just abandon that entire platform, specifically for the fact that it is an area where you can mobilize and organize people in a different way. The content that is being created is different compared to TikTok or Instagram. And on top of that, it really is where we get a lot of breaking news. So for anyone who is, I shouldn't say anyone, for any nonprofits or any type of brands that are really wondering what's happening on Twitter and how you really should be interacting with that platform, my recommendation is for you to stay on Twitter. But there are some considerations just in case things collapse and they go down. So, Morgan, let's actually tell the people what we recommend in the meantime, just to prepare for any type of scenario.
Yeah, so first and foremost, download all of your data. So anything that you can get off of the Twitter servers while it's still working, you can Google how to download your Twitter archive. Highly recommend doing that so that you have access to everything that you've posted and all of your information is already on your local servers. And then I think also shifting strategy to the platforms that you're already using, platforms that you're already strong in. So whether that's Facebook or Instagram, really paying attention to posting a lot of the content that you would put on Twitter onto those platforms and adjusting it for those platforms. And then lastly, you can look into new platforms. There are some other areas for breaking news. TikTok may be an interesting platform to look into, not necessarily really breaking into those platforms immediately, but think about where your reach could be stretched further. So whether it's YouTube or TikTok or whatever, like look into new platforms, see where you can sort of make a difference there instead of just focusing solely on Twitter. But it is hard to replace that breaking news sort of sector that Twitter really holds on to.
When you are in the policy and political space. And here in Virginia, we have the General Assembly session that's coming up in January. I know that's where a lot of this breaking news and announcements will be happening. So consider that as an opportunity to, one, figure out what your strategy should be in communicating with audiences during session. For those folks who may not be in the policy and political space, use the new year as an opportunity to explore some of these other apps or even strengthen your content and your engagement on other social media platforms. Could you be doing more fundraising on LinkedIn, for example? If you're going to create video content, what does that look like on YouTube versus TikTok or Instagram? There's a lot of opportunities of exploration that we want to encourage people. So Shannon Strategies, of course, we are here for all of you all. And if you do not have a communications team or someone that you are consulting with, you might want to give us a call. We are here to help. Any final thoughts, Morgan?
No, don't be scared. Don't let Twitter scare you in these coming days. It has survived. So I'm hoping it survives a little bit longer and we'll see what Elon does in the next few months.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.